Welcome back, everybody. In this last post on the Songs Up for Pianists blog series, we'll concentrate on finalizing the end sound of your songs and on pre-production. We'll focus in on balancing the individual parts that you've captured. We'll talk about extending the depth and image of your captured sounds. We'll also think about sharing our songs and about exporting all the individual parts that make them up so we can take them further in a professional studio environment. In this first video, we'll take the song we created in Post 3 and we'll mix it exclusively using SongsUp's mixer. Let's get into it.
So I've created a duplicate of the song we recorded in Part 3, and now we're going to mix it exclusively inside of SongsUp. Let's switch to the mixer page, and I'm going to bring down all the elements apart from the kick drum, which is going to be the start of my mix. Making sure that I've got enough headroom on the master fader, I'll start bringing up the snare to match the level of the kick and bring in the hi-hats as well. Let's switch into the toms now, which is quite useful. And now that I have a basic drum balance, I'll start bringing up the Moog synth bass and try and match it against the level of the low kick. This is a bridge section, so the Moog is playing long notes. Let's wait for a new section. Now that we can hear the Moog with a bit of snap and rhythm, I'll start compressing the kick drum so it has more presence and cuts through the bass. Bit of EQ, low-end EQ on the kick, but without clipping on the master fader. And now the kick snaps a little bit more and has a little bit more presence. We could leave the reverb adjustments for later, but I do want to hear the snare with a bit of space, so I can feel like I'm in the space of the record. Let's compress the Moog, because it's quite dynamic. Give it also a little bit of low end. But mixing is quite a cyclic process, so now that we've done those adjustments, the Moog requires a little bit of rebalancing in the mix. This is starting to feel quite good. So time to bring in our main instrument, the piano. Trying to match the balance of the rhythm section we created with the drums and the bass. Let's give the piano a little bit of high-end EQ, so it's a bit sparklier and brighter. Also compress it, because it's quite a dynamic performance. And give it some reverb so it feels epic. Alright, let's bring in the Rhodes. I'll pan it a little bit to the right, pan the acoustic piano a little bit to the left, but because it also contains left-hand bass parts, I'll pan the Moog synth bass a little bit to the right. Let's give the Rhodes quite a bit of reverb to enhance its psychedelic vibe. And let's bring in the Hammond organ and see how that sits in the space. Definitely envision the Hammond organ as being quite far away in the mix, so I'm going to give it quite a bit of reverb. But I'll leave it in the middle as the reverb spreads it out in stereo. And that's not bad for a first play of the mix. Now we can listen back and do further adjustments. I'll give the snare a little bit of high-end EQ and more compression, so it cuts through a little bit better. Let's give it a little bit more volume as well. Readjust the kick drum, always keeping an eye on the master fader and the fact that we shouldn't be clipping. And now I'll pan the cymbals / toms to the left, give them a little bit of reverb so the drums feel like they're in the same space that all the other instruments occupy in the mix. Let's work on the piano a little bit more. That's a better volume. But the Hammond organ was a bit aggressive, so I'll start mixing it back in gradually until the balance feels right. Let's bring a little bit more compression on the Rhodes and a little bit more high-end EQ so it sparkles. Becomes more present and consistent. Now I feel that the snare requires a little bit more bottom end, so it's fatter. And I'll readjust the high-end EQ to make sure that I keep its snappiness as well. Readjusting the volume of the Rhodes in balance with the drums, the other piano and the bass. This is starting to feel quite good. Bringing the Hammond organ back in, minor adjustment, now that the Rhodes feels like it's sitting in the right place. And we can enjoy our quick mix. Listen back, take a break, and see if we need to make any more small adjustments. We're not clipping on the master fader, which is good, but we're almost at the top of the available headroom. Well, this is quite a good place for a demo mix, so after playing it through, we can think about exporting it, both as a song to share and as archive material to take into a DAW and mix further.